It's a time for pick it from China. The Sega Saturn is a device I personally didn't grow up with because back in the day I was a PlayStation gamer. Not by choice, it's just how it actually went then. However, revisiting the Sega Saturn is a lot of fun. Besides I didn't grow up with it, there were so many cool things to just go back to. An amazing system with very cool hidden gems and a lot of different ways to play. I also did a video about the light gun situation here on the channel, and it was kind of cool to revisit some Virtual Cop 1 and 2 with the light gun situation, because Virtual Cop is kind of cool when it comes to the game itself. But also we're having different kind of ways to play when it comes to plug and play situations. I think it's very unique that we're having different kind of ways that we can just plug in a cartridge and have all kinds of cool features unlocked. And that's what we're going to be chit-chatting about today. So this is not the first time that we're going to be chit-chatting about Sega Saturn. I also did a full, let's say, case and PSU mod, and this is one of those very cool ways to play. But how can we improve it and what can we do with it to make it even more fun? So in my previous videos we did chit-chat about another card which was similar looking like this one. But this video we're going to be looking at the HD loader, also known as the Saroo. Because this is a plug and play SD solution that we can plug in our Sega Saturn and just play most of the games, not all of them. So another video but also product we tested out is the new all-in-one Sega Saturn. We're not going to do any chit-chatting about it because there was a separate video about that where you can just unlock your Sega Saturn with all kinds of cool features, everything but of course an SD functionality. So let's take a close look at it. We can actually use this on a PAL system or in Japan released version, and yeah, we're going to be making it ultimate because this thing has all kinds of cool features now. But in this case we can modify our Sega Saturn in a very easy and plug and play way, where I already did a separate video about the casing and the PSU mod, but I also have the option for an HDMI solution plug and play and the SD card or the SSHD loader or Saroo. So this is like the ultimate plug and play combination for not a lot of money. However, take consideration, maybe it's possible in the future these cases are very difficult to find, but beside that it's going to be absolutely a blast to the past in just a modern way. I want to be upfront that the Saroo is not the best solution out there. It does have like I think it was not like a 100% compatibility with every single game. However, just going to be randomly picking a couple of games to see how will they load, how fast and how will it actually work. Where I enjoy myself collecting the games for the Sega Saturn, and particularly when it comes to the Japanese release version, because we're having so many cool games like Bomberman, Super Puzzle Fighter and many other classics, for example Virtual Fighter. And of course, if you're going to be using the plug and play solution, I think a very convenient part is that we can actually just play your Sega Saturn games if you want to. And if you don't want to use the feature, you can just plug it out or plug it in. And that is absolutely one of those cool things what I love about this case, that you don't replace the CD drive. So in my case, if you're having a CD drive replacement, you need to have an extra console if you still want to play your original Sega Saturn disc games. But how does the system actually work? So first of all, if you're going to be booting up your device, in my case I completely forgot to replace the battery inside, so I'm going to be asking to put in the date. But beside that point, you're going to be booting up into the Sega logo like you see, and then we automatically load up in the Saroo or the SSHD loader. And that's kind of cool because now we're having the Sega logo again, and here we're finding a very basic menu having select game, system CD player, load game disk, load binary, serial debugging shell and the firm update. In other words, if you just want to play, oh crap, and you're having different languages, that was the point I didn't want to show first, but okay, let's put it in English, it's really in a German language. And in here we're having load game disk, pressing that, it will automatically boot up into the game disk, and you see the disk over here spinning, and that's like one of the convenient things, you can utilize everything. But of course playing the game is another way to play, and you can of course like remove the SSD HD loader, but this is just going to be another easy way to play your original games. A feature I do miss with a lot of my SD related devices, because it's just fun sometimes to grab a game and play them that way. But however, it's like an extra bonus. But if you have loaded up your SD card, you can just plug it in fairly easy. But let's take a close look at the game list itself. So what you're going to be doing is going to the select start, and I'm keep pressing the freaking wrong button, selecting the game list, and in here finding all of the ripped games, and you can just easily like click them and just play them like that. So I'm giving you a great example how easily it is. Everything has been set to alphabetic order. There's no fancy option for having a thumbnail or pictures whatsoever. This is just basic as it can be. However, there are so many cool games, but let's take a close look at one of the familiar ones to me is Assault Rigs. Oh man, I've played this so much on PlayStation. So let's boot up the game. It will give you the Sega logo like usual, and it will boot up. And having the loading screens will be significant shorter than normal. Loading, you see already, I can boot up into the game, and that's how easy it actually is. So let's start off with the game. Oh, I can still remember this game had such a cool soundtracks. Choose your tank, I'm guessing it was. Yep, there we go. And loading times are almost instant, and that's one of the convenient things if you're going to be comparing this with just a disc-based game, of course. Soundtrack, everything seems to be working fine. And if you wonder which game are not compatible, I'm guessing there will be a non-compatible list somewhere on the internet. You can just Google it, and you will find all of the things you need to know for the games that you want to play or are not actually working at all. But if you want to go back to the main menu, just going to be resetting the system itself over here. And to very quickly boot it into the Sega logo. And then we will go into, yep, another Sega logo again. And here we go. Going to the gaming list, and we can choose from there a different kind of game. Donpachi. What is kind of cool that when it comes to the HDMI converter, the signal itself, I don't see any interference whatsoever. But I want to make a dedicated video about it because there are many different solutions. Well, it's kind of cool to see that we have the option for a widescreen and 4:3. So even that option, so that button is so freaking difficult to touch, but however you're getting the point, you can just easily switch. But we're going to be leaving it in 4:3. It would even be cooler if you can switch or evenly switch going into the 4:3 and having a rotation going on. That will be an extra you can add to the Sega Saturn HDMI converter. So you can put your monitor on different angle and getting the best overall shmup experience. I don't know if it even was possible. And this music of the game is so crazy. Oh, there we go. This game is so cool. And then powering up. But so far, no problem whatsoever. Moving to some Street Fighter 03.
Sega Rally Championship.
So when you're looking into, like say, the Sega Saturn, so far I've been testing this. I've been testing all kinds of games just randomly, and I have no problems whatsoever. Didn't have any weird audio glitches going on. But again, do check the support list. Where we finally get a good racing wheel and just play some Sega Rally on this. But let's try out the Saroo on a PAL device over here. I only have Japan and the PAL version. So we can go into the list itself and load up the games. This is, for example, a Japan version. So let's see, we'll load up a Japan edition. So we're having here the fighting game or Thunder Force. Let's boot it up, and we'll boot up without any problem whatsoever. But here you can just see we do have some limitation when it comes to the RAM sometimes. But the game does boot up. And that's kind of cool if you ask me. Difference I do notice when actually playing the game, that the image quality, it's kind of dark. The brightness completely different. But that's it. So it seems to be working just fine on the PAL device too. So we live in an absolutely amazing time when it comes to technology and retro gaming. The Saroo is maybe not the best option out there for overall, let's say, the way to play, but so far I've been testing it on my system. It seems to be working fine. So it's also kind of cool that we can even use the original drives. So we can even combine it, plug it in, leave it in, and just start up your game through the menu of the Saroo. Thank you all for watching. It would be great if I see you again. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell.